Hi there, my friend. Welcome back to another episode of the CEO Soapbox Podcast. I am your host, Neda, and this episode is a little different. It's a special edition. I want to concentrate on micro business owners, family-run businesses, local operators, solo traders, and we're going to talk about marketing for you guys, because when you run a small mums and pops, local or solo operating business, you probably don't have a marketing department. Because I know, right? You are the marketing department. And you may also be sales department, customer service, quoting, invoicing, bookkeeping, and the person who notices you've run out of printer paper or toilet paper. Then every week, someone tells you there's something else you need to be doing when it comes to the marketing of your business. More content, another platform, a new marketing tool is out there you should use, a different way to find customers. You see, some of that advice may be useful, don't get me wrong, but when you're already running the whole business, even good advice can become more noise if it doesn't fit what your business actually needs. So, this episode isn't another list of marketing jobs and marketing things to do, okay? We're not going to talk about that. We are going to make it simpler by looking at 5 things. So, how do the right customers, number 1, find you, then trust you, then number 3, choose you, number 4, return, and number 5, important one, recommend you. All of them are important, but we want them to recommend you. So we're going to look at how these 5 things work together and how to choose marketing that fits your customer, your business, your budget, your business capacity, and your life. And I want to begin with a story. I love a story. Do you love a story? I want to start with a story about 2 very different businesses that taught me why this fundamental matters. So I started my first business. I co-founded the business. I was with a business partner back in 2000. And I started as an admin because this person was a technical person and I was working as a receptionist somewhere and I was helping with account and bookkeeping as well. And I hated my job and I thought, hey, why don't I work for myself? We all done that, right? So back to my story. It was an air conditioning and refrigeration business, and I genuinely thought that I would be looking after the admin side of things, right? Cute. The thing I didn't know, and it didn't take long to realize, that starting a business and making money from it were 2 very different things. We might have been good at servicing. We might have experience or technical expertise on repairing aircon and fridges and some of the appliances, but people still needed to know we existed. They needed a reason to contact us. We needed a product to sell, jobs to quote, enough profitable work coming in to keep the business healthy and to pay us, 2 business partners. We needed to get paid. So my role grew because business needed more from me. I learned marketing. And we're talking about marketing back in 2000, okay? Because you remember those big yellow pages? Very completely different way of marketing. But I had to learn marketing because we needed customers. I learned selling because an inquiry wasn't the same as money in the bank. I learned business development because waiting for work to arrive wasn't going to take us very far. And I learned very quickly that marketing could not sit on its own. It had to connect with what we sold, where we operated, who we were, what customers we needed, and whether we could deliver the work properly. You got to remember, we were a partnership, we were sole traders. So one of the things we did from a business development point of view, I brought in air conditioning air conditioning brands. One came in was Airwell. That was our first brand that we brought in, and that helped me to bring in Daikin air conditioning. We did refrigeration and appliance. Miele was the one we brought in. to the business so we could offer more, and that would open up an opportunity for us to bring revenue in and bring customers in. But then I had to look outside and look beyond the work that were already coming through the door. We need to innovate. And that innovation, it's not a big word for big business owners, okay? You can be innovative as well, and you've got to be. So I had to look in where else was there a genuine need. One opportunity was in regional towns where a lot of people struggle to find anyone willing to travel out and service their air conditioners. And if you are listening to this and you live in Perth, we started from York. And we started doing repair to the fridges and appliances because back in 2000, not a lot of people in Western Australia had air conditioning in their homes. So we thought, okay, we'll start with fridges because everybody had a fridge in the house. And then through that, we started a conversation. So we went to them. We made ourselves available in places other businesses were not always willing to travel or service. Those customers found us because we were solving a local problem. And trust me, there was a lot of printing involved. There was a lot of walking around and dropping these letters into people's letterboxes. Anyway, so they found us because we were solving a local problem. They trusted us because we turned up and did the work properly. That's important. And over time, those service and repair relationship led to air conditioning installation, even led to finding out some people have air cons in their houses, so we could fix those as well. So the customer didn't disappear after one job. The relationship grew because we continued to offer something useful. And when people had a good experience, they told other people. The tools we had then, I don't even know if we can call them tools, were very different from what business owners have access today. We didn't have the same online platforms, content opportunities, or knowing reach, or didn't know what the algorithm was. Heck, we couldn't even afford a website. It was so expensive. Today, content and algorithm absolutely matters. Online platforms, digital platform matters because they influence who sees your business online. Digital platforms can also give micro, small businesses affordable access to customers that would have been much harder to reach in 2000. It was very hard to do that back in 2000. And not just about hard, it was very expensive. So this is a brilliant opportunity for everyone, because it has leveled the playing field. Everyone, doesn't matter what budget and resources you have, you still can do some marketing. However, though, tools are great. The tools still need to help a real business connect with the real and right customers. And while I was learning that about air conditioning and refrigeration and growing the business, I was about to learn the same lesson in a business that could hardly have been more different. So, I love coffee. I'm just addicted to this coffee. And hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe I like my eye twitches. Anyway, back to the story. So, air conditioning and refrigeration was doing really good. We were in the 4th year, and I thought, yay, I love coffee. Hey, maybe I buy a cafe. So I bought a very rundown cafe in West Perth. And this one was mine. No business partner, just me. I bought a cafe in Collins Street in West Perth, a cafe that needed a lot of work and another very steep learning curve for me. So we had to renovate it. So I renovated it, employed a cook, other staff, go through the menu creation, finding the suppliers, and started building that business. The cafe, if you know West Perth, sat among West Perth offices. So most of our customers were people working in those areas. And hey, we weren't the only one. There's cafes and bakeries everywhere in West Perth. So we had coffee in the morning, then lunch. And after that, things became much quieter. Unless if you were very lucky, someone bring their clients through, because there's a lot of accountant and lawyers there. So there was a limit to how much we could earn from the same customers buying coffee and lunch during a fairly small window each day. And selling more coffee would help, of course. But coffee and lunch alone were not creating a sustainable business I wanted to build. You got to remember, I've got staff there. I had to pay. There were so many things, and GST was coming in. Oh, that was so painful. So I started paying closer attention to the customers already around us. Again, needed to innovate. So I looked into who were they, where they work, how did they work, what else did they needed, and what could we provide? What could my business provide using, I've got a kitchen, a full qualified team, resources that I already had. That led me into catering for businesses. So also, we started hosting breakfast function in the morning. We had a team of people. We had a group of office workers used to ride to work on Friday morning, cycle to work on Friday morning. And they used to come and order breakfast. They was ordered this one, that one. They were running out of time. All of a sudden we had, I think it was 25 of them coming through. So what I thought was, why don't I offer buffet breakfast? It was making money for me, because when we calculated it, making money for me, and it was cheaper for them, and they enjoyed it because they could have breakfast on time and they could go have a shower and get ready for work. You see, we didn't have to find a completely new market. I found other ways to serve the same customers and local businesses already around the cafe. The cafe and the air conditioning business were completely different. One involved services, repair, totally different trade industry. The other involved coffee, food, and West Perth office workers. You see, but underneath all of those differences, the same customer journey was happening. People needed to find the business for what they needed. They needed to trust this business. They needed to trust us. We had to make it easy for them to choose us. Then we had to deliver experience, though. Let's not forget about that. We had to deliver an experience that brought them back and made them comfortable to recommend us. At that time, I didn't have those 5 words written down as a marketing system. Trust me. I was just simply trying to build businesses that worked. But later, when I began helping other micro business owners, solo traders, and small business mums and pop shops, I saw just how useful those 5 questions could be. Especially as the marketing world became much louder. Those 5 things still applies. So after selling my businesses, going to the corporate world, I was still helping small business owners with what I learned. And then later on, I joined Business Station, and through their services we're providing, helping their customers, and then again through them helping us, being part of Australian government digital solution program, I worked with all kinds of micro, family-run, and local business owners. You see, by then, business owners, or by now, or if you are now a business owner, you got access to tools that I couldn't have imagined when I started back in 2000. It's just so hard to imagine how tools are available for everybody. Google, website. We couldn't even afford a website. Website was so expensive. Email marketing, online reviews, social media, digital advertising, which is much cheaper compared to the old way of advertising. Content that could reach thousands of people without paying for traditional advertising. You see, these tools opened up a genuine opportunity for micro business owners, solo traders, mums and pops, and local business owners. But they also created more noise and more not sure about unsolicited advice. I think unprofessional advices. Post more. Like, do you see that everywhere? Post more. Make more videos. Run ads. Start an email list. Join another platform. Use this tool. No, you got to use that tool. Oh, no, you got to try this tactic. You got to try that tactic. And for an owner, for the small business owner, for a sole trader already doing the quoting, customer service, selling invoices, actual delivery, buying toilet paper and pens and everything, it can quickly become overwhelming. What concerned me and still concerns me is that the tools are not bad, okay? Well, I'm not talking about the tools. Tools are amazing, my friend. What concerned me that it was that owners were often being told what to use before anyone had properly understood the business. There are so many unqualified business advisors out there. A marketing recommendation can be technically correct and still be completely wrong for the business receiving it. A local hairdresser, a mobile dog groomer, an online consultant, and the bookkeeping business may all be micro businesses or local businesses, but they don't have the same customers. People don't buy from them in the same way. They don't have the same margins, capacity, or available time. So before we add another tactic, I need you to come with me in a journey, because we want to step back and look at the journey we're asking our customers to take. Okay, before any other marketing, I want you to come with me. So imagine someone needs what your business provides. Yeah, the first thing they need to do is to find you. If you run a local business, that means being clear about who you serve and where you operate. What I mean, which suburb, town, or if you go to the regional area, can you realistically cover those? And which one of them? How far can you travel? Please be honest. How far can you travel? And we're talking about traveling. As a local and micro business owner, that you have a van and you work from home and you can travel, please understand how far. This is very important for you to understand how far can you travel, because that travel time is expense as well. Anyway, that's a totally different episode. Back here. So, and where do your customers look when they need a business like yours? They may search, that's right, Google, or they might ask in a local Facebook group. They may rely on referrals. Notice your signage on the car, or if you have a shop locally, they might notice your signage, or meet you through a local partnership or a community event. They may find you through Instagram, LinkedIn, an advertisement, or a piece of useful content. The right channel, my friend, depends on the customers and the business. But before adding anything new, check whether the basics are already helping people find you. Can they find you easily on Google, especially local Google? Are you the opening hours and service areas are correct in your local Google account? Can they understand what you provide? Are you writing simply so they know your services, you understand them, and you serve them? Does your website work properly on the phone? My friend, I know that we talk about and you say local business and everything else, you need a website, and your website must work properly on the phone. If you don't do that, you're going to lose them, because everybody is on their phone. And can they easily call, message, or make a booking? Let's say once they find you, they start deciding whether they trust you. You got to be very careful. Let's say they found you. The moment they found you, they put you on the magnifying glass. And it doesn't matter if you've been referred, they still have to trust you. And that trust might come from genuine reviews, recent photos, example of your work, or recommendation from people they know. But they still have to trust you. Your content may help them understand how you work and what you know. Again, it's important. But trust also comes from simple things. Do you respond at all to their messages? Do you respond on time? Are you helpful? Do you explain what happens next? Do you do what you said you would do? Now, the customer trusts you enough to make an inquiry. So they've seen you, they trust you, you answered all of their questions, you were very helpful. Now I want to make an inquiry. This is where marketing and selling need to work together. And if the word selling and sales is giving you a little eye twitch, my friend, selling is very important. I know that a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with selling. You are, my friend, selling is you solving their problem. Okay, so please get rid of that definition of selling if you give you eye twitch. Selling is amazing because you are solving their problem. So anyway, this is where marketing and selling needs to work together. So what happens to that inquiry? This is what I mean. So the marketing, you've done the marketing, now selling, they have to work together. What happens to that inquiry? Who responds? How quickly? Is your offer clear? Can the customer understand the price or quoting process? What happens after the quote is sent? Do you follow up? I can see you going, ooh. If inquiries spread across email, text messages over here, social media inboxes, and someone's memory, a few of them are going to disappear. And this disappearing act doesn't mean that you always need more leads. That does not mean. Sometimes what it needs is a more reliable way to manage leads it already has. And while we're looking at that, we also need to ask what customers is being encouraged to buy. What I mean by that is we're encouraged to buy which product or services make a reasonable profit, revenue and profit for you and for your business. Which ones do you want more of? Which ones take more time but give you very little back? You see, marketing unprofitable work does not improve your business. It creates more work. And once the customer chooses you, the journey isn't finished. If they had a good experience, you got to remember it's much cheaper to keep your existing clients that's come through. It's much cheaper to keep them and sell more to them or ask them for the recommendation than bringing a new client in. And if they had a good experience, is there a natural reason for them to return? Maybe it's routine servicing, a repeat appointment, a renewal, a seasonal product, a reorder, a related service, or catering for the next workplace function. That's what we did. You see, existing customers already know the business, already know you and your business. You may not need a complicated loyalty program. A helpful reminder, a follow-up message, or seasonal update may be enough. Then we come to recommendation. Local and micro businesses have always grown through the word of mouth. Now, those recommendations might happen in person, through a Google review, in a local online group, or in a message to a friend. If a happy customer tells you they loved the service, make it easy for them to recommend you. Do not be afraid to ask for recommendation. Send the review link and make sure they can easily explain what you do, who you help, where you operate, and how someone can contact you. And to make it even easier, my friend, write it for them. When you look at marketing this way, it stops being a collection of disconnected tasks, all right? It becomes one customer journey. They find you, trust you, choose you, return, and recommend you. The tools support that journey. Now, we can choose them with a reason, right? We know the tools have to support that journey. Now we can choose them with a reason. And once you can see that journey, planning your marketing becomes much less overwhelming. So you're not starting with which platform should I be on or how much content should I create. You're looking at what is happening inside your customer journey and asking, excuse me, I just had a message. I should have turned off my phone. Okay. So you're looking at what's happening inside your customer journey and asking, where are we making it difficult for people? Maybe the right local customer simply can't find you. Maybe they find you, but there isn't enough information to help them trust you. Maybe inquiries are coming in, but the follow-up is inconsistent. And from my experience, this has been the biggest thing, inconsistency to follow up. Just look into that one. And if you do consistent with your follow-up, I congratulate you. And I know it's very hard because you're doing everything yourself. Anyway, I digress. Back to here. So maybe inquiries are coming in, but the follow-ups are inconsistent. Or perhaps you are doing a great job of winning new customers, but you rarely stay in touch with them afterwards. That is where your marketing plan should begin, not with a list of every possible activity, with the 1 or 2 parts of the customer journey that need the most attention. If being found is the issue, perhaps this year you focus on Google, your website, or your local visibility, or one platform your customers actually use. If trust is the gap, you might focus on reviews, example of your work, and clearer communication. Don't be afraid to ask for reviews. People are busy, but if you ask them, they're more than happy to do that. And one thing I've recommended, and I've seen it working, is to write the reviews and ask them if they're comfortable to put that on there. With the link, easy, make it easy for them. If customers are inquiring but not buying, the priority may not be more marketing at all. Maybe your offer, maybe selling, maybe you have a problem with that word and you're afraid to ask what you want and what they need, what's the next step. Maybe your offer, your pricing, your quoting, or follow-up process. And if the customers buy once and then they disappear, perhaps the opportunity is better customer records, useful reminders, or a simple way to stay in touch with them. That gives you a practical plan. You know what you're trying to improve. You can choose the activities that support it, and you can decide what you have the time, budget, and capacity to maintain. Because if the marketing works, the business still has to deliver. Okay? It's not about marketing and bringing people in. If you cannot deliver, there's going to be an issue. You need to be able to respond to the inquiries, do the work well, respond to the inquiries on time and quick, do the work well, and make a reasonable profit from it. The plan has to fit your customers, but it also has to fit the business and the life you want that business to support. And really, that's the point of this whole conversation, because you started the business to give you a better freedom, right? So if you're feeling overwhelmed by everything you've been told you should be doing, come back to the customer journey. Does your marketing help the right customers? Ask yourself this: find you, trust you, choose you, return, and recommend you. Keep what supports that journey. Let go of what doesn't, and choose the tools that fit your business, your customers, your location, your budget, your capacity, your life. And I think we're coming to the end of it. Thank you for being here with me. And if you found this episode helpful, you can follow me on LinkedIn. Hopefully you're in LinkedIn. If you're not, that's not a problem. You can follow this podcast wherever you're listening to it. LinkedIn, I share more practical advice about businesses, growth, and execution. You can also, again, subscribe to the CEO Soapbox Podcast. And I've got a newsletter on LinkedIn that you can subscribe to. And if you need help cutting through the noise and working out what genuinely fits your business, please reach out to me. Sometimes, my friend, you do not need another tactic. You need someone to sit beside you, look at the whole business, and help you work out what matters most. Again, thank you for being here with me. Wishing you an amazing week ahead, my friend. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind, especially to yourself. Bye for now.